Hello and thank you for joining us on Journalist Hangout on Sunday. I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the program, Chief of Army Staff hails troops for quelling insurrection, arson in the southeast as gunmen abduct Emir of Kajuru in Kaduna State. Fresh loan request pushes Nigeria's public debt to over 35.5 trillion naira. Insecurity, poor preservation methods, aging farming population and high transport costs push tomato price to record high levels. And later on the show, no ceremony to honor one of Nigeria's greatest ever footballers, Mudashiru Lawal, on 30th anniversary of his death. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Adewale Adeoye, while Musba Razak will join us later for sports segments. So if you are ready, let the hangout start now. Let's start today's Journalist Hangout on Sunday on a rather sad note, paying tributes to a popular Nigerian musician, Olarewaju Fasasi, popularly known as Sound Sultan, who died in the early hours of today. According to a statement signed by Kayode Fasasi for the family, Sound Sultan died of cancer at the age of 44 in the United States of America.
Okay, now what we go use this for? Okay, carry your paper. Carry your paper. Left for my class. People of this world, them plenty.
Olarewaju Fasasi, popularly known as Sound Sultan, was a Nigerian record artist regarded as one of the pacesetters of modern hip-hop music in Nigeria. Sound Sultan's career in show business started in the 90s when he hosted shows to raise money for studio sessions. In 1999, he had won numerous local talent hunt shows. He released his first single, Jangbajantis, in 2000, which was a hit in Nigeria. After independently releasing other singles and featuring in hit songs of other artists, he was signed by Kenny's Music. Under Kenny's Music, he released 4 albums. After starting as a rapper, he worked in different musical genres. He was once reported to have said that artists shouldn't be judged by the genre and that the important thing is the message conveyed in the music. Under his record label, Ninja Ninjas, he released Back from the Future in 2010 and signed artists such as Karma the Rapper, Young Gracie, Sean and Blacker. On the 12th of May 2021, it was reported that Sound Sultan was somewhere in America where he is receiving treatment in form of chemotherapy as the musician was reportedly diagnosed with throat cancer. Unfortunately, he lost the battle at the age of 44 as a result of the illness. The news of his death has gotten social media abuzz as many took to his page and several others on Instagram to express their grief. The singer lives behind his wife, Farida Fasasi, 3 children and his family members. Prominent amongst them is musician Baba D. He will be remembered for his many contributions and sacrifices to the Nigerian music industry. Theophilus Ilama, TVC News, Lagos.
This guy is too deep today. Too deep, too talented.
It's painful.
Why?
It's painful. It's a tear-jerking moment to watch him sing that song. One of the best songs
Masterpiece
of that era.
Evergreen.
In Nigeria.
This song will continue to be
and
relevant.
this is a song that is still very relevant today. Many years down the line, it will still be relevant because many people go abroad to just go and suffer.
They are wasted.
You know, people who came out with good grades in the university, they go abroad. It's not everyone who goes abroad who makes it.
No,
people are going through a lot. People are going through a lot.
Liberals.
And it's just terrible that we can lose such a hugely talented musicologist. He was not just a musician.
Yeah.
He was a musicologist.
He was more into production.
Yes.
Producer. He was producing people.
And he could
That's his strength.
He could mix all kinds of styles. You know, when you listen to this one, so full of wisdom, so full of
the lyrics
message,
is deep.
Then there's another one that he sang.
Bandits.
No, where he was talking about Gorodom.
Okay.
You know, he just they swing her waist like
Gorodom. Yes, sir. I remember.
That one, you know, will appeal to a section of the musical audience.
Yes.
So it's unfortunate. When I first read about how he was ill, I said, God, please spare the life of this boy. But you see, death is a debt that we all owe. But nobody wants to see someone die in his prime like this. He still had a lot to offer our country. Only a patriot can sit down and write that kind of song.
That lyrics.
Yes, because he's putting Nigeria first.
Wherever
you go, Nigeria is your home. There's no place like home. That's the message.
I'm telling you. It's sometimes some of us, if you even go on vacation, after the second week, I'll start feeling uncomfortable.
Yeah, homesick.
There's nothing they're doing there. I'll start feeling uncomfortable. But a guy like this,
very unfortunate.
Like a message to our youths.
He brought in philosophy into hip hop. Was not just a songwriter, was a comedian. He wrote his lyrics, and he started at a very young age. Though he said he was inspired by his elder brother, Baba D.
I wanted to remember the years Baba D.
He's a very
another talented guy.
Yeah, very unfortunate. It's a tragic loss to music lovers and everyone that is nationalistic about this country. It's very painful. I pray the family, has the shoulder to bear the cross.
My mind goes now to even the picture of, because he was also a good family man. His picture with his kids when that story broke. He had that picture with his kids. Imagining. You don't even want to imagine that your kids will lose you at this time.
No. This is just yes.
It's just painful.
I remember when I got to know this Fasasi guy with his song Bodmas, Jagbajantis, with this everybody, and that was that
another fantastic song.
Fantastic song. I just feel that this thing. We pray that the Almighty God will give the family of. The Fasasi, the Fasasi family, Sound Sultan, the fortitude to bear this irreparable loss that 44, and even the entertainment industry, because it touched that industry, was
tremendously.
A lyricist, a producer,
so much to offer.
Yes,
so much
and all his contemporaries, they respect him because of his talent.
Yes.
They respect him,
and the fact that it's deep as an individual. Some people, even when they sing, you see lyrical emptiness, lyrical shallowness. Not this guy.
You want to depend on the beats and just sing lyric songs.
Just even listen to the lyrics of his songs. You see that you are dealing with a very deep individual. Somebody brilliant, naturally brilliant. It's just like
there are few. I can rate him with the type of Asha.
Yes.
When you look at the lyrics of that song,
that is a song for the elevated.
Do you understand?
Not for
no. You have to be very, very deep. So
very, very sad.
Very sad. Wow. Moving on now. Well, let's from a very, very bad news to something that we can cheer about. So before we go further on the show, let's give you a wonderful piece of news. In preparation for the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, Nigeria men's national basketball team, the Tigers, have done the unthinkable. In the early hours of today, the team pulled off a shocking win over the United States, considered to be the best team in the world. Nigeria beat the US 90-87 points in Las Vegas to inflict on the America their first ever defeat to an African opponent. The next thing is to replicate the feat in the Olympics later this month. Babajide, sharing news. Anytime I think about the D Tigers, I also think about the D Tigers too. A fantastic team.
Yes, this feat reminds me of 1989 when we won the African Junior Basketball tournament for the first time. Countries like Angola, Senegal, in the past we couldn't even compete against them. Whenever they talked about basketball
in the continent.
Yes, that's true. when you talk about in Africa, talking about basketball, your mind goes to the Angolans. That is their number one sport. That is a sport that when Angola is playing it, they show it live for the whole country to watch. That is their own national sport. It's just like this American football in the US. So now in 1989, we beat Angola for the first time and won the African Junior Basketball Championships. And everyone was, what? So Nigeria could do this. And we now went to the World Junior Championships. We lost narrowly to the Americans. That same junior team. It's just a case of inexperience. Two double teams in the course of the game, and then the turnovers happen and you lose the game.
And this is the strength of the Americans.
Yes. No one, Kevin Durant had never lost in an American jersey. That the defeat was inflicted on him by our boys in this match. Kevin Durant, he had never lost a game where he was wearing the national jersey of the American basketball team, the jersey of the American basketball team. But he suffered that defeat. Even in NBA, when they win a tournament, they call themselves the best in the world because it's unimaginable for any club to be able to beat the NBA champions. So that's to tell you the edge that America has over everyone when it comes to basketball. But look at our guys mixing it up fantastically with them. And you know, it is the sort of thing that makes you happy, that you shed tears of joy. That this is your country, a country that you believe in, a country that you are committed to, a country that you want to see make progress. If we are recording this kind of news, who will not be happy?
Consolation.
Sports is something that unites us as a people. If we are recording good news like this, who will not be happy?
Where some people are even talking about the country should disintegrate, you have guys like this. Most of them are based abroad, but they discovered that it should not be fair to play for American teams. They now decided that we are going to bring this thing home. If you see the Tigers, I know that 98% of them, they are based abroad. They are university students, they are everything, but they decided to adorn. Look at them, and they're doing us proud.
I just hope we've always, had some very good performances, like you say. But the issue now, how we are going to sustain this momentum? After this team now, what happens? Are we going to build on this foundation or not? So I think it's quite, it's a great inspiration.
It's a
and
very
I hope
good
we can build on, this, what they have done. Because what we are going to see now is that maybe in the next few years, they may join American club because there are no local clubs that
they can join the club, but for their national team, these ones are patriots.
So I hope we'll be able to sustain this momentum.
The way to continue to watch this happen is if the classics that Milo and the rest of them organize, let's have it. Let's raise these boys from the cradle. From the cradle. That is when it's best to teach them. When you teach them at that level, you can be sure that they will grow up to become world beaters. You don't introduce them to a sport when they are too old. Tiger Woods began to hold a golf club at 18 months. And his father drilled a hole in their living room where he began to learn how to putt. Because once you get that accuracy right, you are like Severiano Ballesteros, one of the greatest ever, who also succumbed to cancer, from Spain. Once you get that accuracy, you can putt with accuracy, and your swing is good. You're a fantastic golfer. So this is the thing. I want this to be a catalyst that will help us give attention to basketball so that we can produce world beaters. It shows that, look, Nigerian young people, that's why when I see people, old people, ridiculing our young people, it makes me sad. If there are people to put Nigeria on the world map, if there are people to make Nigeria great, it's the young people. So we have to invest in them, provide the enabling environment for them to be world beaters, and you see what they can do. You see what they can do. I mean, it's such a cheering news.
All right, moving on now. Now, welfare and honor are some of the most important ingredients to boost the morale rates of troops. In this regard, the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, has commended troops of the 82nd Division of the Nigerian Army in Enugu for quelling insurrection and arson in the southeast. General Yahya, who praised them for their exploits during the 2021 Army Day celebration, urged the troops to continue to make sacrifices for the peace, security, and unity of the country. Meanwhile, bandits are still running riots unchecked in Kaduna State. In the early hours of today, bandits kidnapped the Emir of Kajuru, Alhaji Hal Hassan Adamu, and 10 other members of his household. The Kaduna police spokesman, Mohammed Jalige, confirmed the incident that they were kidnapped in his residence. Julie, let's start from Chief of Army Staff to the troops of 82 Division Enugu and the relative peace that we've experienced in the southeast all of a sudden.
Yes, it shows that when we are determined to put some level of nonsense by criminals and are determined to put it to an end, we will do that. And that is why we have called for concerted efforts in the northwest, in the north central, against bandits that are kidnapping people, setting people's homes ablaze, and causing so much pain to people. You can see now that the level of arson has indeed gone down. Going to attack people's homes, setting people's homes ablaze, killing people, drive-by shooting, killing people, carjacking, and then killing the people in the process, killing people in the process of carjacking. Those things have come down the last few weeks. And if Nigerians must give credit to the army, to the police. Our security forces came together to destroy the camps of the ESN,
identify their major leaders,
took them out, and put them in custody. Where they can't put them in custody, some of them were killed. That is the reason we have that calm. Calm will not suddenly come. Calm will come when you take the right measures. We've seen Abakari and other police tactical team members go to that area. We've seen the work that they've done. In fact, when you let the enemy know that, look, we are coming for you, and when we come for you, we will show no mercy, that will deter others. But when you leave them to have a free reign, they will then think that they are bigger than the state. They will start growing wings and imagine that no one can stop them. Or they will think that it's their juju that is working. You know?
But when they are confronted with that government power,
somebody is facing you with RPG, for example, and you are banking on a juju. I mean, you've got to have your head examined.
So, in one story like that, I was told that they went to kill the two of the juju makers. That one is on the run.
You should have trusted that you go to wait.
They trusted the juju, but we killed most of them.
Take to your heels. See, in the East, there was a guy who was kidnapping people, and he got so bold that even where his case was being heard in court, they stormed the place, sacked the court that was in session, sacked the court, and then took away the guy. But in the end, it was in a forest on the way to Port Harcourt, you know, that they went and served him justice.
He was killed.
He was killed. And the guy had terrorized that whole area for a long time.
He lost place to kill the proposed girlfriend.
Yes, that's the story. But in the end, when we decided to move, did we not serve justice? So that is the point. Even in the northwest and the north central, where some individuals are behaving like look like no one can touch them.
They're like
They are
gods.
kidnapping people. They are behaving like
They are
gods.
kidnapping people. You're asking for food to feed the people.
You
and
that
you're
you wanted
rejecting.
to kidnap. Why didn't you invest in food that you will serve on people?
Yeah,
You want
giving
to
them
take
ultimatum.
millions and millions of naira from
You still want them to be
and
feeding
you don't
them.
want to invest your own money in that. What kind of rubbish is
I
that?
saw it and I was like,
They are the ones who will give you money to
bags of
buy
rice.
food. When they are even saying, oh, you must give us Okada. That means after you paid ransom, you have further enabled them.
So that they can go to the highways to go and...
That is what they are doing. It can only happen where you have not dealt decisively with them. If we take appropriate steps, you know, all this nonsense will end. I'm saying it that it is possible for Nigeria to defeat this insecurity. All it takes is for the president to take the right steps. It's not rocket science. We've seen it happen in other places, and it can happen. And we are telling the president today, I will repeat it, that to cement his legacy and for people to talk about the infrastructure development that he has caused to happen in the country, he has to defeat this insecurity. If he does not defeat the insecurity, his regime
It will erode all the gains.
and his regime will be signposted by insecurity. That's what people will talk about. But when you defeat that insecurity, you silence your haters, you silence your doubters, and everyone will now focus attention on other areas that we had neglected. That is my advice to the president.
Wale Adeyi, so earlier this year, I was so worried because of the southeast. Yes, since 2009, the northeast, the northwest, we've been having crisis all around the place, and I was so worried that if this thing should spread across the country, that this country, our security forces and everything, they will be overwhelmed. So when you start hearing things happening in Imo, Ebonyi State,
Anambra,
going to the police station, burning police station, killing policemen, INEC offices, it was running.
I think, first of all, what the Chief of Army Staff did, I think it's in line with military tradition. You give reward to people for excellence. It may not necessarily be in form of cash. It will be in form of words of encouragement. There is no doubt that violence has reduced in the southeast in the past few days.
At least compared to what it used to be before.
And I think it cannot be isolated from the efforts of security operatives. Not just the army alone, the DSS, the police, civil defense. But I also think the political leadership in the East, they have opened up a window of dialogue with some of the aggrieved elements. I think that also is contributing to the peace process we are having. But I don't think that represents the whole picture. I have a feeling that the arrest of Kanu may also have demoralized a lot of his supporters.
Yes.
It may have traumatized them. So I believe that is also seen as a plus for the government, for those who believe in that. But the fact of the matter is that the conditions that gave rise to these groups, we also need to address them. The conditions that gave rise to an extent that an organization like IPOP can give instruction to people to stay at home, and they all obeyed that instruction. So I think we need to, while dealing with the security issues, we need to address the fundamental causes, the root causes. Because people are complaining that they are going to their farms, they don't allow them to farm, they are kidnapping them, and then they are taking laws into their hands. So the government should also deal with insecurity holistically, by addressing the issue of invasion of farms, kidnapping by people that are not from that area, so that we can have a comprehensive response to the menace.
So, Julie, the second I'll do is, let's go back to the north, or if we continue to monitor the situation in the southeast, and we pray that it doesn't degenerate further. But Kaduna is a source of worry, and it's, if the whole Emir of Kajuru, Alhaji Alhassan Adamo, and 10 of his households can be abducted, I mean, these bandits, they are so emboldened now, and they can do anything they can do and not do.
Well, they are emboldened, but we have the capacity to put an end to the nonsense that these guys constitute. Yes, in remote communities, they find it a lot easier to operate. But you can see that they hardly operate in well-built-up areas and urban centers and all that. That's to tell you that they have their limitations. Now, to go and kidnap an emir, you know, they've made moves on the emir of Potiskum, even the emir of Breningwari. They've made moves on some emirs. Something just told me that ultimately they will get an emir. You know, they made moves on even emir of Yauri. You know, something just told me that somehow one day these guys will succeed, and it's unfortunate that it has happened. The way it is now in Kaduna, with bandits running riot, we've got to protect key people like top traditional rulers, first-class rulers. We've got to protect them and save ourselves the embarrassment of running helter-skelter once they are picked up. Because now, at a time when we have those children with them, with bandits, and we don't know what to do, we are wondering how we can get those children back quickly. We have this unfortunate incident of an emir being kidnapped with 12 other members of his household. It's just terrible. We've got to do better in terms of protecting our people. And you see, we also need to do something about the morale of our armed forces, because once we are able to do that, they will give their best and we'll see successes being recorded. In the talking about the GOC of 82 Division, Major General Taurid Lagbaja, he was saying that we've got to pray for the armed forces and remember the immediate families that they leave behind. He was telling his colleagues that, look, Nigeria needs prayer and the army needs prayer too, that we've got to remember the people that they left behind. Because in this season, look at that school, when they raided that school, the Baptist, Bethel Baptist School, they killed 2 soldiers. Nearly every day we are losing soldiers, we are losing policemen. What are we doing for the families of these people who lay down their lives for our country? That ought to be on the front burner, because that's the only way you can encourage them to give their best.
Yes. Not to say about their wives to be thrown out of the barracks less than 3 months after the death.
It's a very bad policy. There ought to be a policy that will come up with, that will resettle families of fallen heroes. Maybe somewhere in Abuja, you know, yes. An estate, fantastic estate, big estate, where you can resettle them, and afterwards they can live off government. But to simply throw people out of barracks after they've been lost on the battlefield, it doesn't send the right signals to their families. They will feel forgotten. And this GOC was telling his colleagues that, look, remember them, show generosity to them, visit them from time to time, show generosity to the people that they have left behind. That's because he knows that once this thing happens, these guys are usually left alone.
Yes.
Who goes to see them? Who gives them money? Who, in some cases, they will even wait and wait for even the entitlement of their loved ones to be paid. Some of them will be going to Abuja, going everywhere.
Some of them will turn to prostitutes.
So this is the thing. Yes, we've heard all those stories that especially young wives of army officers,
yes,
you know,
died at the age of 29, 20.
Yes, so we've got to that welfare. As we battle to defeat insecurity in our country, the welfare of our armed forces must be taken very seriously.
Because these are now the Kaduna thing. It's as if Reverend, what's his name? Governor Nasir El-Rufai, it's as if he's powerless.
I think
everything is happening.
I think the governor is overwhelmed. And I doubt if he finds time to sleep. Honestly, I sympathize with him.
Yes.
Because if you look at the structure, there is a limit to what he can do. Even though he's the #1 security officer in that state, the police is not under his command. And also, when you have a specific problem like this, we are talking about funding to cope with the situation. And how do you want to continue to talk about political economic development?
Let's take this call. Gabriel is calling us from Kaduna State. Thank you, Gabriel.
Hello.
Yes, thank you for staying with us. Yes.
Please, I'm calling from Kaduna, Gabriel.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Please, this Kaduna, we are not sleeping. We need a state of emergency. Please, people should help us so that the National Assembly can declare state of emergency for Kaduna, because we are not sleeping every day. No one sleep. I beg, we are not moving out.
We can't recommend that. I don't know if that is going to solve your problem, but declaring state of emergency.
I've said it repeatedly that state of emergency, the type of state of emergency that Obasanjo declared, nobody would declare it anymore.
Yes.
Because he declared it based on an antiquated law.
Yes.
A law that no longer exists.
The democratic institution,
and they got away with it.
Everything.
Buhari will not do it. Jonathan did not do it. And Buhari will not do it. People now know that that law no longer exists. If Obasanjo got away with it, it doesn't mean that Buhari will do it. I see people calling for it. How can you be calling for what is no longer recognized in our laws?
There is even no guarantee that state of emergency will resolve
this kind of thing.
See, because Kaduna has maybe one of the highest concentration of military institutions.
Yes.
You know, Air Force, infantry, whole division, NDA. And this community is just about less than 40 kilometers away from Kaduna. So I think it's a major problem that I don't think the Kaduna state governor can solve it alone. So we need concerted effort. And we cannot just say because it's Kaduna that it's not our business. You know, if it can happen in Kaduna, that means it can happen elsewhere.
Yes, that's why we're talking about it.
So I think the government really needs to do something, because if a whole MI can be picked, then
I'm telling
it means
you,
nobody is safe.
Nobody is safe.
In as much as that it's important to protect dignitaries, but it's better to have a system that can protect the society, you know, to protect the whole of the society, so that you don't just have a state that protects only certain individuals alone. I think it's getting out of that, because MIs were the custodians of culture. People had a lot of respect for them. To now kidnap them.
I have Olushola calling us from Ibadan, Oyo State. Thank you for staying with us, Shola.
Julius from Ibadan, Oyo State capital.
Yes.
Babajide, good afternoon, sir. And the other man, the analyst.
Yeah.
Yes. I want to, you said something the other time when they announced Cook Yahaya as the new chief of staff. You said something that this man is a man that understands the rudiment of what is happening. And we should expect much from him. Why? Because he's going to perform. So today, I'm appreciating God, appreciating Mr. President, and I'm appreciating him for what is happening in the eastern part of the country. For today, we can as well see some ease. But now, Kaduna happens to be a very, very important place that attention has to be placed. Because, look at the first caller. He said they are seriously bleeding and he wanted state of emergency, which cannot happen now. But what is so important, he will appreciate it if Mr. President and the Chief of Army Staff and those involved can put their hands on deck and do the needful, whereby this can be returned back to Kaduna State and even other volatile areas throughout Nigeria. Happy Sunday to all of you all, and God bless you.
Thank you,
Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. Julie, when you were looking at the final analysis of this, you want to see, is this a deliberate attempt to, you know, weaken the government structure or the morale of Governor Nasir El-Rufai? It's as if he's a target. We hear of Niger State. Niger State, a little bit statement as...
The truth is, yes, bandits have always been there in Kaduna, but they are deliberately targeting his state now. And I said it from the beginning, that because it looked very apparent at that time that they were targeting Kaduna State because the governor was the first to come out to say they should not be paying ransom to these people, and he said that they do not deserve to live, that they have lost the moral justification to live. When you take people's lives, when you kidnap people, you don't deserve to live. That's what the governor said. So if you say that to people who are in your state in thousands, who have the resources to fight you, then no one should be surprised that they have now taken the battle to that state. You know, they can move, all of these states are contiguous. They can move from even Katsina to Kaduna. They can move from Zamfara to Kaduna, you know. So, and we have a huge number of bandits in these whole areas, even from Niger that you are talking about. Niger shares border with Kaduna, the Briningwari area, for example, they can come in. So once they see a governor that appears to be fighting them and advising his colleagues to stop paying ransom, to rather resort to military action that will take them out, they will think that Nasir is an enemy and they are going to make the state unbearable for him. That is what we are seeing. In the last 6 months, at least 4 schools have been attacked by bandits. I think 4 or 5 now have been attacked by bandits in Kaduna State alone. That is a national record. Kaduna
sounds that it's deliberate.
It's deliberate. But we know that we have a big problem in the entire Northwest. Northwest, in the last 6 months, have recorded 1,405 kidnap cases. North Central, 942 kidnap cases. And Northeast, 210 kidnap cases. Northern Nigeria, the entire Northern Nigeria, has recorded in the last 6 months 2,557 kidnap cases, whereas Southern Nigeria recorded 386. So it's a huge gap. We know where the problem is, and we've got to frontally attack this problem so that our people can live in peace. I'm not happy that not less than 7 to 8 local governments in Kaduna State are places that you cannot consider to be safe. Chikun local government, Kajuru, Kachia, Zango Nkata, Igabi, Giwa, Zaria, Sabongeri, and even some parts of Kagarko, the Jere area of Kagarko on the way to Abuja. These places, anything can happen at any time. Anything can happen at any time.
I have a call from Kaduna. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, good evening. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Actually, what people are seeing on the overview is beyond what is happening in Kaduna. The actual thing I decided I'm going to be where the kidnaps that happened 3 days ago just happened. Those gunmen, they came very, very close to even the town. Like, it's beyond what is happening. I work in Kajuru and I know what we see every day when we fly from Sabo to Kajuru. So these things we are seeing on the TV and the internet is just a tip of what is happening. We really need help. We need help in Kaduna State.
The governor is silent now. Don't know. He had a meeting, the governor had a meeting with the Chief of Defense Staff.
After they had...
I'm sure it was meant to see what solution they can find to this problem, but Governor Nasiru has been silent. Nasiru Rufai has been silent for some days now. Anybody in that position will be truly troubled. Because you can't be happy receiving news all the time of your people being kidnapped, your people being killed.
And he's somebody that he likes attracting investment into Kaduna State. He wants to do this.
He does that investment summit every year and all that.
So who's going to go there now?
No one.
Nobody can risk it.
No one. Some of the gains that he had made will be eroded with this insecurity. It's just terrible. It's rated as the third most insecure state in Nigeria. Wow. After Borno and Zamfara, and is also rated the state with the worst the third state with the third worst state when it comes to kidnapping. After Niger, Zamfara. So across all parameters, Kaduna is not doing well in the area of security. The facts are there.
The government cannot even embark on any infrastructural development.
Meaningful one.
Road construction. Which contractor wants to go to where lives are not?
Foreign contractors.
It is the public that is providing the funds for these people to buy arms unconsciously. Because when they kidnap people, they pay 50 million, 20 million. They use these funds to go and buy arms. So if the perpetrators are not arrested, nothing happens to them, and there's no air surveillance to indicate where they are taking these people to, I think we are almost losing count. Children are being kidnapped, women are being taken away. So I think it has become such a very reckless and disturbing situation that the governor, in collaboration with the federal government and neighboring states, they really need to come together to address the problem.
Kaduna needs help. Kaduna needs help.
All right, we'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's Journalist Hangout. Please stay with us.